MLM reps and their companies have to post on social media and on their websites constantly. It is how they recruit. It's how they sell. It is a big part of the business. And when you're posting that much, stuff slips out. Little things that they say that aren't meant to be revealing, but end up giving away a lot more than they maybe realize. So in this video, we are going to walk through some of those moments where that stuff slips out and they seem to not really even notice. All right, I want to start out with a more lighthearted one because this guy, he's not like speaking the quiet part out loud. He has made signs for it. This is a bomb party rep who goes live on TikTok and has a wall of handwritten signs behind him. It is a whole backdrop. And let's just read through what some of these say. Do not join my team. I like being solo. I don't wear any unicorns either, which is like internal BP lingo. I don't do volcanoes. They are messy as not sorry. Again, volcanoes are like internal BP language. No, I'm not going to Fizztopia. Don't ask. And if you've seen any bomb party TikTok lives, you likely understand some of that internal lingo. And of course, those are all like super funny. But the one I want to focus on says, do not join my team. I like being solo. That is the most blunt version of saying the quiet part out loud that we're going to see today. And that's because this is an MLM. Bomb Party is an MLM, and a massive part, if not the only part that matters in being successful in an MLM is often recruiting a team. But he is openly saying with written signs that he is opting out of that. So that's kind of why I wanted to start here, is because he is just so blatantly saying it. I feel like he is seeing how absurd MLM models are, and instead of like pretending that it's normal or just kind of ignoring it, he is making fun of it. So I do appreciate the ability to be like, yeah, no, it's weird. I'm not going to pretend that it's not. So for this one, this is a rep who is posting about how her business has brought her all these amazing women. So she says, it's connected me to friends I've met through so many walks of life that I get to reconnect to through something as simple as hair. Women like former ICU nurse besties, high school bestie, a family friend, a former photographer friend. And I feel like this one is just so, it's just like the MLM playbook. She is openly saying that she has reached out to people that she hasn't spoken to in years. Like one of the people, it was a family friend I haven't seen in 20 years. And to me, that's not just describing like the nice experience she's been having. That is saying the quiet part out loud. That is openly admitting to, I assume, sending those hey hun messages. That is what this post is, even if she doesn't realize it. She is describing her, warm market. It's not a cold market since she does know these people, but turning that into like friendship. But it just is like, I read that and I was like, oh my God. All right, this one is a Facebook post and it says, another company going affiliate. If you're not familiar with my industry and line of work, this is devastating to a lot of people. For someone like me who's not a great seller but can build organizations, this would ruin my income entirely. I mean, devastate it. I couldn't imagine. Thankful I chose a company that's rooted, financially very secure, and owners who have a deep desire to help others. It's like, not even trying to hide it. She is saying if her company switched to an affiliate model where you only earn money from product sales, she would lose her income. That tells us exactly where the money is coming from. She says that she's not a great seller, but that she can build organizations. That is not having a business focused on products. That's just having a downline. And if taking away that recruitment structure of your business would devastate you, that's the tell. That is the giveaway. All right, next one. It is a quick one, but it's a lot. The text on the screen says, training for when my husband asks me why we have so many packages being delivered from Monate. It's just like, sometimes they just tell on themselves. This is another clear example of the reps. They're the customers. Regular people are not purchasing Monate products. It is the reps. They try to frame their posts and stuff like they're just sharing something that they love. But when it gets to the point that your spouse is like suspicious about how many boxes from a particular company is showing up, that's not like retail demand. It's that internal consumption. This next one is an Instagram Instagram reel from another Monat rep, and she had just gotten back from Monat's Punta Cana incentive trip. And the reel says, POV, only the top people earn the trips. And yeah, that's like a major criticism of MLMs. When someone says that only the top people earn these trips, what they're really saying is the people at the top are getting rewarded for what everyone underneath them is doing. To even qualify for the lowest tier of that trip, and I'm about to bring you a lot of numbers, just stick with me, you had to personally recruit 10 new market partners, sign up 20 VIP customers, have your team bring in another 20 market partners and 35 VIP customers, hit $50,000 in group volume, and hold the rank of managing market builder or higher that month. And let's break that down for context. That 50,000 group volume, the baseline for MMB is 5,000. So we are talking 10 times the volume just to get your foot in the door. And let's be real, that volume isn't coming from customer demand. It's reps placing big orders or getting their teams to place these big orders before a deadline. And this is where it turns into the quiet part out loud moment. Monat's own income disclosure says 1.21% of reps in the US hit MMB or above in 2024. That includes everyone, active reps and inactive reps. So when she says that only the top people earn the trips, she is not exaggerating. She's kind of just exposing the entire system while trying to, I guess, be motivational. And another thing that I just felt was worth noting is that in 2024, Monat had another incentive trip to Tulum, and over 2,500 reps were technically eligible to try to earn it, meaning that they had the minimum rank that they needed to earn the trip. But out of that whole group of 2,500 reps, only 432 actually earned it. And that's not because they just didn't want it or didn't want to go. It's because that even with that base rank that they needed to earn the trip, you still have to check all the other boxes. You need a ton of personal recruits, and you need your team recruiting people, and you have to hit a really high sales number. It is a lot of work. So I point this out because even those top reps, like this rep mentioned in her reel, most still don't make it. If we do the math, that's only about 17% of people who could qualify actually did. 17%. And when you look at Monat's rep base numbers as a whole, it works out to less than 0.5% of reps were eligible. So I say all of this because it's just so frustrating that they make it seem like it's this wide open opportunity. And for all those people who work hard, those top earners, they're the ones that get to qualify for these trips. And I don't mean to get into such weeds about Monat and their income disclosure and their compensation plan, but I really just want to drive home the fact that the average rep made $758 for the entire year in 2024. So when you see these trips on Instagram and they look so amazing and so fun, it is not a reward. It is a performance. It is marketing. It's to get them in deeper. And I hate these incentive trips so much. I'm working on creating a whole other video about them. It's a work in progress. For this next one, it is an Instagram story, and it says, we just closed out another amazing month with my 2 best friends that I work with, and this month is going to be crazy good. Someone could literally come shop today, save money on their laundry soap, share the store with 8 friends, and get $1,000 in their bank next month, and earn a trip to Punta Cana for free. Save money, 8 friends who brush teeth and do laundry, free trip, and $1,000 paycheck. I love my job. This is not an April Fool's joke, FYI. It's real. She is not describing a business here. The whole pitch is if you know 8 people who brush their teeth and do laundry, you will get this paycheck and a trip to Punta Cana. There is no mention of what those 8 people need to be doing, how you're going to go about getting them, whether they need to be buying, what they're doing once they join your team. And they always just make it sound like none of those details matter and just how easy it is. Like 8 people, that's a lot of people. And all of that is why this is that quiet part out loud moment. She is not talking about selling anything. She is not talking about the products, and she is not talking about legitimate customers. The way that she's explaining it, it's not about what those customers buy. She's saying exactly how MLMs work and not realizing how bad that sounds. She's literally telling you that the paycheck and the incentive trips come from bringing people in, not from what they're buying. Reps will sometimes soften that or make it more professional or maybe not so outright, but she is skipping all that. She's saying, hey, if you like laundry soap or if you brush your teeth, get 8 people and then you can get your paycheck and your incentive trip. She is saying the whole system out loud like it's just not a big deal. This next one is another one from the Anti-MLM subreddit, and this is from Monate Australia. They were promoting this holiday gift set, and at first it's just like your typical marketing around the holiday season. But then if you look, the prices that are at the top, that's not the prices for the customers. That is the price that the market partners or the reps are going to pay. And the only other price is the price for the VIP customers, which is people who have subscribed to Monate. So all of that said, there's not like a public price for like a regular shopper. It's just those 2 price points, which are for people who are already in the system in some capacity. And one of the commenters on Reddit, I feel like just nailed it. They said the reps are the main customers, because if you're not marketing these sale prices to the public and you're not offering it at a one-time purchase for like a regular shopper, then who is actually buying this stuff? It's probably the reps. The people trying to sell it are the ones that are keeping the system going. And as we all know, that is not a real sales model. It's just internal buying. It's an internal loop to make it look like there's a demand. And it's just another very clear example that in MLMs, the products are not for customers. Those products are there for the reps to have something to keep buying. This next one is a Facebook post from someone recruiting for what they're calling a financial services opportunity. And I'm just going to summarize it for you. It starts out what looks like a normal job posting, work from home, no experience required, set your own schedule, full training provided. And then partway through, she says, it's not a traditional job. It's a 1099. And that is the quiet part out loud moment right there. She is pitching this like a job and including all of that language that people are searching for when they're job hunting. But then she goes on to admit that it's not a job at all. You're just going to be a 1099 contractor. And they write these things like it's just so normal and like it's an okay thing to do. And it is just so manipulative and so wrong and so frustrating to see this stuff. I almost hope that if they're going to keep doing these I'm hiring posts, that they do say it's not a job, it's a 1099 contract position, so that hopefully that will be a red flag enough for someone to be like, something feels a little bit scammy here. Moving on to this one, another Monate rep. She is showing off 6 bottles of their Rejuvenique oil that she found while she was packing to move. And she says that this isn't even all the ones that she has, that she still has some in her bathroom. And if you're not familiar, the context of this particular product does kind of matter. This is like their big main thing that most of the reps push. They will say that you can basically use this stuff on literally any inch of your body. And each bottle is like, for retail price, it's like $100. And even if they have their market partner discount, this is still like a few $100s that are just scattered around the house. And I always just sort of love when they're like sharing these things like, oh my gosh, so funny that I have all of these products laying around my house, as though it isn't showing the people from the outside like, you are the customer. So this is a very good example of like, it's not even a need for the product. To me, that looks like someone who was trying to hit their rank, hit a new rank, and they needed to place an order to do that. And then they ultimately ended up with 6 random bottles of this $100 oil laying around their house, unbeknownst to them. So when I saw that, I was like, you are your own best customer. So let's move on to another Monate rep. who is saying basically the same thing, but with a lot less filter.
Okay, so you might be watching my stories and be like, dang, this chick is going hard on bringing in new market partners. And here is the thing. Yes, I am. You might be like, but Cass, why aren't you talking about the products? Listen, because I talk about the products on TikTok, but also because the thing that excites me the most, like, yes, a good head of hair looks amazing and I will admire it 100%. But you know what's even better is when you are able to introduce something to someone who didn't think that it was possible, and then you show them that it is possible because you help them get the impossible. Like, it's an addiction, okay? So if you're like, this just heavy on recruiting, I will not apologize. Yes, I absolutely am. And you know what? If you want to try the hair care, you can absolutely try the hair care. And then I'm going to tell you, I think you should sell it. I think you should.
All right, so that is it. That is the whole playbook. That is a perfect example of saying the quiet part out loud. She is not saying, hey, there's this amazing product and I think you should try it. She's saying that if you try it, she is just instantly going to pitch you on the business opportunity. And like, she's not trying to hide it. That whole like, oh, you like shampoo? Cool, you should sell it. And this is what people mean when they say the product does not matter. It is just a hook to get people in. You are not being brought in as just a customer who is in love with this certain product. She is saying that to her, you are a potential recruit. And her vibe is like she's not like accidentally letting that come out. She is saying it proudly. Like she's not pretending it's about the customers or the product sales. She basically says, I recruit and I'm not going to stop. All right, she continues and says this.
And I'm going to be straight up with you. There are entirely too many women that I talk to that are broke. Like, that it should literally, oh, dog hair. Hudson, go away. Go away. It should be a crime to know that this many people are broke and to not offer to help. I'm here to teach them how to fish. You can lead the horse to water. I'm going to teach the man to fish. I'm not giving the man a fish. I am going to teach the man a fish. Is that how it goes?
This is so frustrating to hear them say. She is not just saying, I'm open to recruiting people who are maybe struggling. She is saying that that is who she is looking for. Almost like if she didn't recruit you into her downline and you were broke, that would be some sort of moral failure for her. And that is the quiet part out loud that I want to focus on. To me, when I hear stuff like this, it is clear evidence that this model feeds on financial stress. And she's saying it with pride. And they make it seem like they're offering some sort of help. But it's not. It's not support. It's not stability. And it is not a reliable income. It's just a spot in the system that pays her when you sign up. And I think it's so wrong to act like that is saving people. Because what she's alluding to here, to me, is that she is taking people's worst moments and using it as a recruitment strategy. Moving on, this is a screenshot of a WhatsApp thread between some reps in the MLM pharmacy. All right, the rep says, believe it or not, 6 years ago when I started this business, I had to reframe my vocabulary and a lot of my thoughts, and I had a lot of mentors correct me all of the time, and it changed my life. I removed a lot of words from my vocabulary and made room for abundance in my life. I learned that it's not about what we say, but how we say it and with what energy we say it. It's my biggest tip to you all. Your thoughts are things, and your life will only go as far as your beliefs can take you. So yeah, that feels very off to me. And for some context, based on what I know of this rep, I'm pretty sure she's very high up in pharmacy, and I don't want to take away any of that happiness or whatever she may have gotten from those previous mentors, but I feel like red flags are just going up because it feels like it's framed as personal growth, but To me, it feels like she had to like rewire a lot of things to maybe keep up or to feel like she fit in. And I know that some people like really believe that the language you use can really affect your mindset and your productivity, etc. But when she said that she was corrected by her mentor so many times that she removed words from her vocabulary, I don't know, feels a little bit weird to me. It doesn't sound like she was being helped to become a better salesperson. It was like, no, this is the script that we use and you better learn it. That to me is that quiet part out loud. The normalization of changing so many aspects of who you are just so that you can fit in within your company. I take all of that as someone who is describing control and making it seem like it's part of her success. And in this one, this is just my take on this. But when success starts looking like changing the way you talk, the way you think, the way you act, that doesn't feel like mentorship. That feels like control. And when that control is framed as a win and then is then spun to put on your downline, it is so off-putting. It is so concerning. And I'm like, are we even talking about a business anymore? Moving on to this next one, I'm going to read a Facebook post from a rep who's in Bravenly, which is a wellness company. They've been around for a few years now, and some of those reps have some posts that are whoa. And in this post, it was part of their 2-year anniversary celebration, and it's written... I'll just read it. So she basically starts with saying that she was on a live with our CEO. She has so generously offered the opportunity for all VPs and higher ranked members to place their orders in the next 15 minutes so that we can put our 100% focus and support into our teams and their successes during what is projected to be the biggest launch in our company's history. Okay, so what is happening here is that the reps are being given this massive privilege and early access to spend their own money on the products within their own business. And it's another quiet part out loud example of the reps being their own best customers. They are the ones that are placing the orders. They are the ones that are incentivized to buy quickly. They're given the next 15 minutes, this urgency. It's like a sales tactic for their own company. It is just so strange. And I'm not talking about this particular rep saying it. I don't at all mean to, make it a reflection of her, but it's so strange and off-putting to see things like this. They are not hiding it. They're just sharing it and hyping it up. And it almost feels like the only people that would sit with and like stick with are people who are maybe already in the network marketing and multi-level marketing world. From an outside perspective, I'd be like, cool, you get to buy a product with your own company first. Great. All of that to say, the business is running on the reps buying their own products. That is the model. That is where their personal volume and group volume comes from. So whenever you see people that are saying it's about community and support, whatever, it is worth remembering that behind the scenes, and in this case, right in front of us, this is what it really looks like. They are being incentivized to buy their own products so that the company's best customers are just the people who sell it.
I'm getting ready to jump on a webinar with my UK partners, Chris and Susan, where we're going to be talking all about the opportunity right now for mental wellness in Europe. You guys, I'm very excited about this because the European market is still so untapped. And it's so untapped on social media too. Like there's not a lot of noise on social media about it right now. And I've seen what has happened with Happy Juice when we launch in all of these other countries, and it absolutely freaking explodes. So I'm just excited for the right person who decides to come in and like just really run with this, because they're going to be able to create a movement there. And they're going to be able to own mental wellness, Happy Juice, Amari on social media. So if you want the link to join us, there's still time.
That is so frustrating to me. She is not saying all of this because she feels like there is an untapped market of people in Europe who need support. She's excited because there's no competition for their happy juice yet. It's just so wrong. And unfortunately, because Amare is selling what they're selling and they have branded themselves as the mental wellness company, I'm going to be more critical about them. I think what they're doing is, I don't like it. She's not talking about mental health as though it's this real thing that people are dealing with. It's just like, hey, Europe is this untapped open market or like a brand category. And I'm sure that she has other Instagram stories that she does go into what the product is, but this one just, it's so off-putting to me. And that quiet part out loud there, to be clear, is that I don't really think that a lot of these reps are in it to help people. It's just about ranking up, maintaining their rank. It's about the money. And when that is what is exciting you, is the potential to get the person on your team that they could have this untapped market, it feels really wrong to me. And it's also proof of like, yeah, the timing is what matters. Like if you get in early, that's how you're going to make the money. That's how you're going to be able to run in the business with them. This next one is just quick, but it's funny and I wanted to include it. I'm not even going to read the whole thing because the actual content isn't what is worth mentioning. But if you look at the end, it says, feel free to tweak or adjust as needed. And that is just, it's like, oops. Someone clearly took a script from someone else, or maybe it was like in their back office or whatever, just copied and pasted the whole thing, likely didn't tweak a single thing from it. And it's just... that quiet part out loud there is like they are not really even using their own personal stories. They're probably taking all the stories of reps who have come before them like, hey, this is what I did. This was my sob story. Take it, use it, and that's how you'll make a sale. It's just so funny because in this one, like there's obviously no hiding it. They clearly just copied and pasted and forgot to delete that part out. All right, so this whole next section is reps who are talking about comp plans and business structures that look a lot like a pyramid. Okay, so first up in this section is going to be a post from a Color Street rep who says that she is taking a 97% pay cut and she's the sole provider for her family. Can you imagine? Oh my God, just like stressful just hearing it. And in her post, she goes on to say that she has felt a lot of, obviously emotions about this. And then she says, and now I feel excited, which I haven't felt this excited in a long time and it feels good. Comment me or message me to find out why. So because Color Street changed, I can't remember if they went to affiliate or whatever happened, but she is saying that her income got slashed by 97% overnight and that she's the sole provider of income for her family. That should be a huge, glaring warning sign of how unstable the MLM business model is. But instead of seeing how risky it is, she just pivots into the next exciting opportunity. And this is what like MLM logic does, I don't know if I should say like does to your brain, or like how it shifts these reps thinking. They will turn their near financial, meltdown into a recruitment pitch for the next opportunity. And it is just that quiet part out loud of like the MLM business model is unstable. It is risky. Things can change overnight for you. But I'm going to use that as advertisement. I'm going to use that as my next way to pitch you into the next company. All right, this next one is an Instagram story and it says, whether you're new to this industry or a leader bringing a team over, I've built an entire website that both onboards and gives you everything you need daily in one place off of social media. Now, that might seem like whatever run-of-the-mill post, but it was worth mentioning this one here because she says, whether you're new to this industry or a leader bringing a team over. And that is the line that made me stop of like, oh, usually they don't say that. Usually they don't admit that once a company goes affiliate, a different company goes affiliate, or they shut down, someone who is a high rank in a company will just bring over their whole team. They make it seem so normal. They don't often outright post about it like this rep did, but it is infuriating. And the reason that it is so annoying to see is that they will then go on to sell the business opportunity as like, I worked hard and I got to the top. But often They were in a different company before, got in early, rose the ranks that way purely on timing. That company closed down or went to affiliate or whatever the circumstances were. They jumped to a different company and quietly get everyone on that team to come with them and to keep their same rank. And then they will likely go on to say, like, I worked really hard and I rose in the ranks to this new company. I've only been here a short time and I'm the highest rank. We see it happen so often. And this is why it is so hard for people who are at the bottom to move up. Those top leaders aren't grinding or hustling like they're telling everyone in their downlines to do. They are just taking the same structure and jumping from one company to another, and that lets them keep their income, their bonuses, their rank, while everyone else in their downline is forced to start from scratch. This next one is one that I saw on a snark subreddit, and it immediately caught my attention. It is a screenshot of a post from a Prove It rep who is showing off a list of, I think it's 15 new clients doing burn camp with us. And then it's a shout out to some of their like returning clients. And if you were just scrolling past this, like if I saw this, I probably would have been like, whatever, click next. But I'm really happy that someone in the subreddit who is more familiar with these reps saw this and pointed it out, because every single person that this Redditor put the red line next to, those are already Prove It reps. They aren't new clients. They aren't just customers. They are already reps in the business. I even went through and double checked, like, because I saw this post and I had it kind of, sorted away in a folder on my computer for a while. So I was like, I need to make sure that this is still accurate or that they actually were reps to begin with. Nope, they all are. They were when this was in the subreddit and they still are. I double checked. So it's just so funny to be like, oh, all these new clients that are joining us in this, upcoming fitness challenge, we're so excited to have them. They're just reps in the company. It is just another example of like the internal demand. It's just a system that just churns through the same things internally. It is just such a good example of like not having a customer base. It's just reps that are buying the company's own products again and again, and then just using that as marketing. Okay, so moving on. This is an Instagram post, and I'm not going to read the whole thing, but she's basically responding to the hesitation that people have about joining of like, I don't know anyone who would buy from me. So to quick summarize her post, she talks about how surprised she was by who actually showed up in her business to support her, like financially, and that it wasn't close friends, but people she didn't even know that well or people that she hadn't ever even met in real life. So the line I want to focus on is, and just because my best friends don't support my business doesn't mean they don't love me, and it also doesn't mean that I shouldn't keep going. And that stuck with me. I feel like it's meant to sound empowering or like she's being strong, seeing it that way, but even the way she puts like best friend in quotes, and I don't know, maybe that's just kind of how she types, but like as a little bit like my best friends, like it could be seen as like a little passive aggressive. But when I see that, I like tried to put myself in the position of one of her best friends, and I wonder if, she did pitch them or just assumed that they would support her and they were like, not really my thing. I don't support MLMs, whatever it might be. But I wonder if those are the people who are closest to her, like that maybe voiced concern about her getting involved in this. So maybe they started to ask her questions about it or just outright said, like, I'm sorry, I'm not interested in doing this. I don't support this business model. And now they are sort of being pushed out of the picture. And that part of post, when I see this, because like I see this come up often of people being like, oh, people I know in my real life don't even buy from me, whatever. And if I'm not being clear enough yet, the quiet part out loud there is like the people that she knows best, the people that she considered her best friends, are not the ones that are supporting her. Like that could very much be like a major red flag. And I said, I wonder if those are the people that maybe voiced concerns and now she has to use it as a lesson of like, no, I'm going to kind of push those people aside and focus on the people who do support me, which just shows how much this business model can really affect the personal relationships in your life. And even beyond that, it just might also be proof that this is how top reps or leaders in her MLM may be framing how to see rejection. Like, you don't question the system or any of the concerns that those people in your life are raising. You question your friends. All right, this next one is from a Make Wellness rep who used to be in Modere before it shut down. And it kind of starts with her saying how grateful she is for the opportunity, whatever. And then she says she made $158 this month, and that it's more than she ever made in a single paycheck during her entire 5+ years in other MLMs. And what I take from that is that after years of working those other businesses, she never made a paycheck higher than $158. And of course, we could see that quiet part out loud of like, oh my gosh, that gives us an idea of how much money some of these reps are making. But beyond that, it's really revealing to see how reps get stuck in a business when they do see some level of like mild success. The reps in these companies have to lower the bar so much so that even these like scraps of money seem like success. So seeing something like $158 check, and like, who am I to say that that's not a lot of, $158 that could be added to your bank account, sure, but like we have to wonder like how much work actually went into that and what relationships are being affected. Like, if you really think about all the time, money, effort is going into a company to only make that much, and that's more than you've made in any other paycheck in the last 5 years from an MLM, it's like, I don't know. And just as an aside, I just have to mention this because when I was like looking into this rep to kind of figure out what company she was in and whatever, I saw this post, which doesn't exactly fit into this particular video's theme, but it's worth mentioning to me. She has a post that she starts with the phrase transparency time, and then she blurs out the name of her company. And when I say like, you're saying it's a post about being transparent, and then look at this post. If you're just listening on audio, please come back to the screen and look at this. You can see that it is like whited out the name of the company, which at this time was Modere. Like, you can't call it transparency and then like hide what you're selling. And I have to say, that post is from 2022, so it was a few years ago. So like, hopefully maybe you've learned the lesson of like, it's not in good taste. It's not a good marketing method to like hide what you're selling. It just is, again, it's another thing that is so normalized in MLMs that I want to just like, not that I want to give them advice, but when you won't say the company in which you're selling for, if it's just all this like random fluff language, people who are on the outside are looking at that like, that seems weird. What company is it for? They write these things that just lead to just open red flags to the rest of us. This next one is from a bomb party rep. And just note that I took the screen recording myself and I kind of started it when she was in the middle of a sentence, but you'll figure out what she's talking about pretty quickly.
Then we go with the basic $5, right? $5 just in my commission. 5 times 100 is $500 in an hour. Did I spend more? I spent 4 hours on here tonight. But even if you break it up, that's 100 an hour. Or 100. Yeah, 100 an hour. I can't talk, y'all. But what I'm trying to say is it can be profitable as you go down. Because you get a cut from me. Yes, correct. So some items will make $10 an hour. Like studs, stacks, villain, resort, $10 an hour. Or $10 commission. OGs are $5. Birthdays might be like $6 or $7. Yeah, and then, yeah, exactly, Lillian. So we get a bonus too, right? We do get a bonus, and I get a nice chunk. But like our bonuses, so when we purchase inventory, say I don't have a team, right? I don't have a team. If I purchase $10,000 times 7%, I'm getting a $700 bonus for the month. On top of my sales, right? And I usually purchase about 40,000. So 40,000 times 7%, I get at least a basic bonus of 2,800 a month.
Right. So she's walking through how the bonus from Bomb Party works and just like uses $10,000 as her example, which like, whoa, that is a massive amount of money. 10 grand. Wow. And then right after that, she says that she personally buys $40,000 of product every month. And because of that, she gets a 7% bonus, which she did the math, and that works out to $2,800. And she's just like, yeah, it's like a great amount of money. I want to be clear that she's not getting that bonus because she sold $40,000. She gets that $2,800 because she paid them $40,000. And it just doesn't feel to me like that is a bonus when you're the one that had to spend the 40 grand to get the products. And to me, like, that's not that much money in the grand scheme of things if we're considering that you had to spend that much. And of course, I'm assuming if she's spending that much, she's reselling a decent majority of that. I really don't know. I don't fully understand how the new comp plan is for Bomb Party because I feel like I heard that things changed for them. But the bonus part I want to focus on because like it doesn't include the rest of the job, all the things that go into it. Like they'll just say like, oh, well, I have to buy it and then I'll just resell it. Well, like you have to incur different things to do that. You have to work, a certain amount of hours. You have to be focused on shipping, packing, invoicing, whatever. And does that make $2,800 and a bonus like worth it? And then she continues.
And I even do more than that sometimes. Correct. Bonuses are monthly. And I get some more, like, as you build a team, that's the cool part of building a team. You do get paid off your team. You don't get paid off, you get paid off of what they purchase, but now it's changing, right? It's not off what they purchase no more. It's off what they're selling. So it's no longer based off of what you're telling your downlines they need to buy. It's what they're selling. So that's why ranks are going to change for a lot of people. So I get a bonus off of what they sell and what I sell.
So that part there was like so eye-opening. And I do recognize that based on what she said, that Bomb Party did change that. I'm not super familiar what the new comp plan or how they're making money has been switched to, but like it confirms what critics have been saying for years. The way that the top reps were making money is not based on what was being sold. It was based on what reps were buying. So reps would buy the product themselves and then their uplines would get a bonus off of that. And it sounds like the company's trying to change that, which I'm like very curious why. I really need to look into that.
If you want to build a team, it's another way to make some money. And commissions change based off your rank, like a percentage off of your first, second, and your third. You don't go anything more than that. I think once you get to maybe Aquamarine and Diamond, you get on your fourth. I forget. I don't even pay attention. I don't even know if they pay me the right. I don't even look. Is that terrible? I just thought about that now. But anyway. But yeah, so it's a unique system. And that's what a lot of people don't like is like that we get paid off of our downlines, but I'm not going to complain. Like, I'm doing my job. I am there for my team. I support my team.
So she says a lot of people don't like that we get paid off of our downlines. But that quiet part out loud is that she's saying, well, yeah, I do. And I'm not complaining like it's money. She is confirming in such like a lighthearted, off the cuff way that the people who benefit are at the top at the expense of the people at the bottom. Almost like there's no incentive to question this business model because she's the one being rewarded by it. All right, this next one is shorter, but it's funny. Another one that I found in the Anti-MLM subreddit, and it's a post, kind of like a bio, like introducing yourself, and it's just describing who they are, but you'll see in red. I am a SHAM, sham, running a few businesses. That's funny. I assume they meant SAHM, stay-at-home mom, but they wrote sham. So it's a little typo that kind of says it all, almost like a Freudian slip. And I don't have like a deep analysis of any of that. It just was funny, and I just wanted to include it. All right, this next one is an email opt-in like pop-up form that's like, well, let's just read it. Don't give up just yet. I don't know why there's a question mark there. Discover how to attract the right people into your downline by swiping our simple 3-step recruiting formula. Why are those different colors? Enter your details to get this proven 3-step formula for free and start attracting your prospects. Now, this is the part. Even if you have no friends left, no experience, and no result. And they're not saying any of that like that's a problem. They are saying it like, yes, that is exactly who we're looking for. Like, you've already pushed everyone in your life away. Perfect. You're exactly the person that we're looking for. And I think what's so messed up, and I guess like the quiet part out loud is very evident here. They're not just acknowledging the fallout, they are treating it like a given. Like, of course you've lost friends. Of course your network has dried up. It's just part of the process. It's a part of the business model. They know that reps in these companies turn people into the friend who's always pitching something. And eventually, those other friends get tired of it. But instead of addressing that or trying to prevent it, they've just decided to build their framework on it. All right, this next one is an Instagram story from a pharmacy rep. And on the screen, it's a screenshot of like a bunch of text messages of like a team group chat during a new product launch. And you'll see people saying like, I got 6. And one person is joking that the website is crashing and that's like a reason to celebrate. I don't know. But as we saw earlier, this is just another example of like, it's not customers who are excited about a new launch. It is the reps. The people who are buying the product are the same people who are selling it. And that is the part that gets glossed over so often in posts like this. It's not a massive like public launch of a new product. It's reps buying from their own company and getting like super excited about it. They are not hyped up because they're the ones making sales. They're hyped up because they are the customers. And that is that quiet part out loud there that I want you to notice. The whole system runs on the reps acting like customers. Also, as an aside, your website crashing isn't like necessarily a flex. I feel like that's just your company not planning for, a high amount of traffic. So like maybe they should talk to their hosting company or something. This next one was just too funny to not include. It's from a Monat rep, like right after she got home from their incentive trip. And in the photo, it just is 3 women who are forming a pyramid on the beach, like a human pyramid, but like kind of funny that it's a pyramid inside a what I believe is a pyramid scheme. And she even like goes on to say in her own words, who wouldn't want to be a part of this awesome pyramid of ridiculously cool women? LOL. I was like, well, this one just is funny because it's just like they make it too easy sometimes. And like, yeah, we know it's a pyramid. And you, I think, also seem to know that too. This next one is a gallery post on Instagram from a very high up Monat rep. And I'll just let it play as I talk about it. But she has like stick figure MLM math in the post. And there's mentions of 4 customers a month, 2 recruits a month. And then you like repeat and like that's the whole thing. And the way that it seems to be laid out is like, if you do this and you get this perfect little system going, you're going to get $1,200. This isn't really about sales. It's about recruitment. The pitch is bring in 2 people every month and then have those people do the same. And it's not like a genius plan. It's just allegedly, and in my opinion, a pyramid scheme. And you are showing us that it is one. It just is so wild that they really don't hide it. And they make it so clear, like that looks like a pyramid that you put in your own marketing material. This next one is a Monat rep. Again, it says, it blows my mind how many people from other companies are still trying to recruit me. Like, really? Me? Is it not obvious that I'm married to Monat? Is it not obvious that I've made millions of dollars with Monat and will continue to do so here? Nothing anyone says will ever get to me and look the other way, so please save it. Advice to you. Trying to recruit people from your previous company is not the right way to grow your team. The grass is greener where you water it, and I have a pretty nice garden. So when I read that, I take that as her saying, likely without intending to, that this is not just a company or a job. This is attached to her identity. She says that she's married to Monat. And that word choice just seems so off to me because she's describing this as something she's very like emotionally attached to. And that is the quiet part out loud that I want to focus on. In most jobs, if something better came along or the current place you were at kind of seemed to be going downhill, you'd make a move. You'd likely start looking at other opportunities, maybe start applying elsewhere. But here it goes beyond your income. It feels like indoctrination. And when I read her post, it really feels like she is a good example of a rep who has fallen prey to the identity crisis that so many reps in MLMs face. Almost like staying proves that you're loyal and leaving means you've failed. So when she's pushing back on other reps of other companies that are trying to recruit her, she, in my opinion, is not just saying, no, no to their pitch. She's almost like reacting like they've crossed a very personal boundary, almost like it's like cheating if we continue the analogy of like being married. And the way she says it, it's almost like jokingly or like it's just a very normal opinion to have. But to an outsider, like in my opinion, it's not normal. And it feels very dangerous to be so connected to a company that at the end of the day, they're worried about their profits. They're worried about their revenue. They aren't necessarily, or in my opinion, like at all worried about you and your success. This one is another quick like one-off, but it felt worth including because it was just funny. It is a post I saw in the Anti-MLM subreddit, and it is a Facebook bio, and it says 7-figure high ticket mentor, top 1% of industry. And obviously that's funny because, well, she meant to write industry, of course, but it very much gives like the that's pretty sus vibes, like suspicious. So honestly, like the typo in and of itself does all the commentary that I think is needed as to how I view these companies in MLMs. So I don't really have anything to add. Moving on. This next one is an Instagram reel, and on the screen it says, Rich Life Tip. Choose a side hustle that gives you space to reconnect, serve, and love on your friends. And like, of course, that sounds sweet. And I might be at the point of being more nitpicky, but it almost feels like to me that the ROI is connection more than like money. But at the end of the day, this is a job. It is a side hustle. People are going to be spending their time and going to be investing into their business. They should be getting paid money for that, right? But this kind of language is what MLMs do. They will take normal things like wanting connection or building a community and turn them into the reward. Like in this case, she's reframing emotional support as the paycheck, so you don't need to wonder where your money is. And I feel like once they can get the reps to start believing that, you are easier to keep in the system. You will stay in, you will keep buying, you'll keep recruiting because, hey, at least it's fulfilling in this way. But I can almost guarantee that's not what these people signed up for. They were, I can imagine, promised an income. They were sold on time freedom, financial freedom, stability, but they're likely not going to get that. And that is the quiet part that is being said out loud here. I can assume that this rep is likely not making a lot of money or maybe any money at all. So they change their mindset of swapping out a monetary paycheck for personal growth. And then that's the way that they are going to start marketing their business. And I guess that they probably do that so that if they can rope you in that way, they will make you think that it's fine if you're not making money because as long as you're growing or helping people or connect with people, like it's all good, it's worth it. But that is not how jobs work. That is not how businesses work. People deserve to be paid for their time and effort. And her post, whether she meant to or not, shows just how far these companies will go to shift that narrative to make you forget all of that. With all of these posts, all of this social media content, the thing that is always going to be the quietest part out the loudest is companies' income disclosure statements. We don't need a post on Instagram from a rep. These companies are showing us exactly how unsuccessful their reps are. Here are just a few examples of some recent income disclosure statements that I found. Arbonne, over 85% of all active consultants made less than $200 in 2023. The median income was $77 for the year. Not profit, income. That does not include the cost of staying active, attending events, or buying products. Moving on. Amare, 86% of active members are at the bottom rank. Even among the people who did earn commissions, nearly 60% of them made less than $200 a month. Plexus, the average income for active ambassadors was $531. That is before expenses like shipping, event tickets, or staying active. And the wild part is that these numbers are not hard to find for the most part. They are in the company's PDFs. You can just do a quick Google search, the name of the company, income disclosure statement, and you can likely find it. The reps will rarely talk about these income disclosure statements because if they did, people would go and look at them and then their pitch would fall apart. part. However, in saying that, they are not easy to read for the most part. You really have to sit and look at them and crunch some numbers. Everything I just read off was me after looking at things and taking notes. That's why I read off the screen, because it is confusing. And I believe that it is meant to be confusing. They don't want you looking at these things. But if we can learn to read them and we can share this information, I hope that this part, this quiet part, can be said the loudest. And if even one person hears all of this information and goes, wait, that is what has been bothering me, or that's what I've been worried about, or that's what I've been wondering, then I think that all of the work that went into this and all the work that goes into the anti-MLM movement is worth it. The thing about all of these quiet part out loud moments is, like, in an isolated sense, they're kind of funny and it's easy to laugh at them. Most of them were not people that were like actually messing things up. We did have a few typos in there that I just thought were funny additions. But a lot of times it's just how the business works, and it's the business model talking. And all of that is what it sounds like when that mask slips and they start to kind of describe what's going on behind the scenes. MLMs are really good at teaching people how to make it sound like they are doing great. And it's not just how they're doing professionally. It can be emotionally, mentally, spiritually. And that is why this conversation matters so much. It's not just some sales thing anymore. You really start to believe it. If you think the right thoughts, if you say the right things, if you stay coachable, if you stay compliant, everything else will just fall into place. After a while, reps will start to believe the mentality that the companies and their high up reps push on them. And it's not because those things that they're telling them are true. It's because it's safer than letting the cracks show. And that is why leaving is so hard. It's so much more than just walking away from a paycheck. It is about walking away from this entire identity that you've been repeating day in and day out. And if you've been told that asking questions means that you're being negative or that you're just scared, it gets really hard to say out loud when something feels off. So a lot of times they just stay. And it's not because it's going well. It's because they've been told that struggling means that they're doing something right. The real quiet part isn't what we're seeing on social media. It is the stuff that they keep to themselves when they start wondering if the problem isn't them, if maybe this whole system wasn't set up for their success. And if you are in an MLM and you've made it this far in my video, and if any of this feels off to you, it's not negativity. That is you noticing what is actually happening, and you are allowed to say it out loud. And with that, that is all I have for you guys today. I really hope you enjoyed this one. It took me a long time to put together, so if you wouldn't mind, I would love for you to leave a like, leave your commentary. I love to hear what you guys have to say. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. I would really, really appreciate it, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!